today in all of the greatest hits of the Old Testament and the song and gospel proclaimed by the Rolling Stones. Thank you, Scott. And Jesus, the feeding and the praying and the walking on water. I mean, this is like the greatest hits Sunday. Which makes me all want to admit to you that I really like funerals. I know it's weird. You already know I'm odd. But it's not because I like death. I mean, it's incredibly devastating and sad that every single one. And the funeral piece, that event, for me, has so much hope of the peace and the proclamation and the greatest hits of a person's life. There's a healing quality to funerals. Psychologist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross said that death is the shedding of the physical body, like a butterfly shedding its cocoon. And when I meet with people frequently here about planning their funeral and demonstrating the greatest hits, what their passions are, usually the way to bring that conversation for it to become more comfortable is we start with, what are the songs? What are the songs that are your songs? And that tends to lighten the mood a little bit. It's an access point, music. Music is that great access point. And we plan songs. I think about what songs I want to be sung at my funeral. I have them written out, actually. What's your funeral song? Typical ones, I do a lot of funerals. Amazing Grace is often one of the greatest at a funeral. Great is thy faithfulness, nearer my God to thee, on and on. I have heard some unusual ones that I also really like. Freebird. I did hear another one, Bites the Dust, and I am not a big fan of that one. But then only once, did I hear the song that was just sung. I heard the Rolling Stones say the song, can't always get what you want. You try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. And I'll always remember that funeral song. It fits so perfectly for that particular person. And then at funerals, another song that is very, very popular and sung all the time is the Psalm Song 23. Would you look at it with me in your bulletin again? Your heart knows it already. But I'm just going to read it to you as we're talking about this uncomfortable topic of funerals. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. Revives my soul and guides me along right pathways for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table before me in the presence of those who trouble me. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup is running over. Surely your goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let us not forget that the Psalms are a song book. The song book for Israel and for the early church. These are the Psalms. And the Psalms are full of it all. The ponderings of life changes, their grievances and frustrations at illness, racism, suffering. The Psalms are ponderings of despair. They also discuss like the beauty of their day. And they all talk about the recognition that we bring all that we want to God. God gives us what we need. We bring all of our hope that the Holy Spirit will guide us toward what we need. That's why the metaphor of the shepherd, of God being our shepherd, is helpful. God our shepherd, there's this role has a lot to say about it, but it was helpful for me to remember that in ancient Near East, the kings and the rulers were referred to as shepherds because shepherds were clearly the protectors and the providers of the sheep. So that was the role. So to claim that God is our provider and our protector took the power to God versus the person of the land or the kingdom. I think it's really helpful for us today, too, to think about God as our shepherd, our provider, and our protector. The one who guides us along the right way when often we want to go the wrong way, or guides us the right way before night really falls on us. If we listen for the call, go back the right way. Protector protects us, particularly the lost, particularly the most destitute, and can rescue us like no other thing or no other body can. So was Jesus a provider and protector? Well, today in our gospel, Deacon Annette read that Jesus did all these things. He saw the hunger of the people. Interesting though, again, he saw the illness of the people. That was the first thing. He saw all of the illness of the people. And so he goes and the first thing he does is give them food. Gives them one of the things that they really need. It's not always what we want, but what we need. He anoints them then too. And the boy, I've given so many sermons about this boy. I love this boy. And this sermon's not about him today. But the boy just wants to eat his lunch and listen to his teacher, right? And he's asked to share his lunch. And he does. He's willing to share it somehow. He shares it. And not only is this boy then taught that if you share, there's always going to be enough. And we learn that there's leftovers. This is an amazing teaching lesson about sharing. Jesus invites him to administer communion. That's what that is. You have this little boy, and Jesus gives him, let's have you have gifts to give to this community. Why don't you give them and share them? And he feeds the entire thousands of people so that there are leftovers, and throws this boy a party. It's not what he was wanting, but it was what he needed. We know that there was loneliness. Jesus saw the loneliness among people. Jesus then saw that his disciples were out in the boat and there were dangerous waters and they were afraid. And so they're crying out, I'm afraid, stop this storm. What does Jesus do? He doesn't give them what they want. He comes to the water with them. He goes into that trouble with them. And it says that allowed them, God being with them, allowed them to get to the other side. Jesus is that relational shepherd, that person that is providing and protecting what we most need. Healing, food, friendship, teaching, companionship, mercy, loving kindness, all the days of our life. I just spent an entire week with young people at church camp. We had 54 young people, 7-year-olds through 17-year-olds. Kids from all over the state, Episcopal parishes from all over the place, usually pretty small parishes, 2 by 2s, 1, 3, a couple family members. All day long, from sunrise to sunset, I got to talk about God, Jesus, all day long, from the songs that we sang to the themes that we had every day. For 3 days, I dedicated 3 days to teaching about the Eucharist. You ask any of those kids about the bread and the wine and the significance of sharing and taking God in and then sharing God out, and they can tell you the words of institution, they can give you the history, they know about the Eucharist. And it fed my soul to be able to talk about the Eucharist and to hear their comments, second by second. And for these kids to be sharing bread and wine with one another and to learn how that reminds them of Jesus and that they can do that day in, day out with their families. And they definitely were sharing the Eucharist with one another, giving themselves and love to one another throughout that week. It was significant. All of those young people know that the bread and the wine and the Eucharist, it's a source of their hope and their love. We know Jesus is going to say just a little bit more in the gospel coming up, that this Eucharist is a foretaste for you about what's to come for you. It's only a foretaste of that heavenly banquet, of that huge feast, when you will continue to grow and continue to laugh, and you will no longer be in need. Meanwhile, though, while we are still together, Jesus promises that he will be with us, and he will hold us, and he will provide for us and protect us. Keep asking what you want, trusting that you'll be guided towards what you need. This is a great song to sing out. Be the best. So come today to Eucharist. Come and know that your God is ready for you and loves you, is with you. This song of your life, it's a beautiful song.